What's up, guys? So I wanted to do this kind of middle of a build, kind of post-build thing. So obviously I've got WarGreymon. This thing is robust. Like, this is a beefy thing. I didn't expect it to be this large, but it's pretty good. So as you can see, he's pretty much done. But there is a major problem with him. And of course, I'll cover this in a review, but I'm going to show it off to you guys on how I'm going to deal with this. So here we have the right arm. And I didn't realize I was not pushed in all the way. So he's got a couple ways that it articulates. You've got the ball joint here, and then it's actually on a swivel on the inside. So you can see here, this goes up. But then you have to... That is a huge amount of effort for a shoulder joint. Now, the main reason that's an issue is because he can't put his arm up. Now, I've already done some work on the left shoulder, so you can see the difference here. So, kick that shoulder armor up, kind of push the arm up in there, and see if it's any easier. And it is. Now, mind you, I'm still having to kind of finagle it with two hands, but it's a lot easier. Especially on that downward stroke. So what I'm going to do real quick is disassemble this. So that's just a simple polycap peg. Now the hard part here is actually splitting all of this armor. So I need to just wedge a blade in here without accidentally cutting anything. And once I get it started, I can get a spudger in here. Which, by the way, the spudger is meant for splitting things or popping panels or loose joints or something, say like on a transformer that doesn't want to transform. So basically what I'm going to do is I got to split this armor, which is very much connected to itself. Real quick, come on. Now, that being said, this was a pretty fun build. I had a couple of issues, not in the construction, but in paint, because I did decide to paint a couple details, most of which were okay, but the main one is pretty not great. If I'm honest, kind of wish I had gone with the stickers. Okay, so disassembling the shoulder. So the shoulder spike goes on over this, and then this gets us to our actual shoulder joint, which once again is very hard. And given that this little peg here is only on one side, if you flex that too hard while trying to move the arm, that's going to snap off. So what we're going to do is try to get in here and split this guy open. Which, I'll give Bandai some credit. They made these some very, very tight connections. The figurized connections are very good. So, I mean, these things are basically action figures with some different detailing, stuff like that. It's an action figure you can build, not 100% like Gunpla, but, I mean, this thing is pretty sweet, if I'm honest. And I only did a little bit of work to it, like a little bit, and I'm pretty happy with how it comes out. Alright, so you can see here how it works. So the swivel joint just goes around that, and it is super tight. Even there, I'm struggling to move it. So I'm going to work it off. If I can. It ain't easy. You gotta use a spudger. Now, I realize it is supposed to be pretty snug because you really don't want your arms to, move on their own. But the problem is you have a ball socket that's the other part of the shoulder joint. And that gets pretty messy if you don't do it that way. So, all I'm gonna do, sandpaper. And I'm just gonna sand that little friend here. kind of hard to get in there. All right. Just kind of give it a little bit of a sand. That was my thumbnail, by the way. Not the loud bumping noise, that was the neighbors upstairs, but, you know. Yeah, unfortunately, we just got some new neighbors this weekend. Months of bliss with no upstairs neighbors. So basically what I'm trying to do is just sand this down a little bit and get a fresher piece here. Now, I don't want it to be loose, obviously, but I do need it to be looser. Now, one thing I don't understand, it's like 50 degrees outside right now, and they have their AC running. I don't get that. Okay, so that's taken off a bit here. And I don't really want to mess with the inside of this, but I do want to sand this edge. So just in case I don't want it dragging either on the sides. Basically clearancing it almost like you would for a paint job. You know, you want to make sure your joints can move freely. And this thing has so much friction, like it is scary. So it's one side, and you see quite a lot of dust. A lot of sanding dust. I would actually sand the part that matters. That'd be good. And also, I'm going to clearance ever so slightly the corners where it does meet up, because that could actually hit on the socket for the shoulder. Okay, so I'll go ahead and reassemble this. So ball joint towards the flat side. Oh yeah, that was already smoother. So look, that takes a lot less effort to move. Still some effort, but significantly less. Do I have that right? Yeah, I just gotta point it that way. Okay, so now putting this back together. And just going to take my knife and just clearance out these corners ever so slightly, because it does get super tight when that ball joint gets to about that. So I want to make sure that the shoulder joints and the sockets all clear each other, because that would be embarrassing to go that far and then things get all wonky. So it's all good. And also, totally looks like cheese. But let's see here. That is significantly looser. Not a ton of effort to get it to move. But once again, this is such an unsturdy peg. It's a scary thought to think that that's how the shoulder is supposed to move. So that's much smoother than it was. So let's just reassemble the shoulder right quick. Pretty easy. Yeah, that's right. And it's kind of cool how the outer armor, like this yellow part, is actually what secures it in place. Actually, really dig that. So it's a pretty clever build. Like, as you're building, you're like, how does that exactly go together? And then when it does, you're like, ooh, it's actually pretty good. Okay, so there we go. There's a shoulder all kind of squished together. Make sure it is all squished together. Ah! And then you drop it on the floor, or else it doesn't count, right? Of course, I dropped it where I can't reach it. And yep, I just fished that out with my foot. So there's that. So just how the arms, the articulation works. So ball joint there, the pivots at the chest, but then you can get that nice upward movement like so. So that would be almost 90 degrees out. But then you have bicep rotation, a double jointed elbow, and then forearm rotation here, and then the hand itself can rotate independently. So there's actually a lot going on there, but that's pretty cool. So let's stick it back together and see what we can do. So once again, the ball joint socket in there is the part I was clearancing for. So you can see right there, it gets really close to that corner, but it's not like super wide. So just giving it ever so much clearance. In fact, just looking at it right there definitely shows that it made a difference. And you can see here that I can get the shoulder, or the arm almost out straight on the left side. Let's see what we can do here on the right side. The hard part is you can't do it with the arm or in hand, so you have to kind of lift the shoulder independently, like so. But you can get it almost 90 degrees now, where it was really, truly stuck before. Would it be nice if you could do all that without having to move a bunch of stuff? Of course. But now, he can do the come at me, bro. Now, if I could somehow clearance the hair from the back shield, that would be great, because that's also in the way. He has a great range of neck movement, but he can't clear his own wings. So that part is kind of stupid. They needed to add one more hinge there. So the head can look way down, and it can even kick far forward, but that's about it. In fact, I didn't even know that could move as much as it just did. So that's about as good as he can do without his hair hitting. Cool. So there's my WarGreymon Shoulder Fix. I just wanted to include that here for you guys to see. I'll talk about it in the actual review. But as you guys are the ones who knew that this was coming, obviously I'm going to share it with you guys. And also the fact that I did paint on this guy and I wasn't planning on it. So most of the red, you know, here on the ties is painted. The hoses are painted. Inside here is painted. The armor, not so much. And then these little bits up here that would have been stickers got painted. And then that part right there is all white paint, which was a huge pain in the butt and is not a good paint job. But the wings are neat. I've yet to play with the shield as a thing, so we'll see what happens. But I just wanted to do this video real quick while I was thinking about it, so you guys can see the coolness. Look at the wings. I think this is one of the upgrades, because this was an older kit originally, and this is the what do they call it? Not enhanced. What do they call it? Amplified. So yeah, there's something about it. Also, these super long claws. Like, I think you could technically use it with just these outer ones. I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. But I would like to shrink that. But I like that they can move. That's pretty cool. And that his hands do move independently. You do have to paint the thumbnail. That part sucks. But as it goes, this thing is cool. I really wish they would do more. I might get Omegamon. I'm not sure. But I would love to have an Ice Garurumon. Or Metal Garurumon, I should say. And I would also love just a lot of the other Season 1 Digimon. Or even some of the just bigger final forms of different Digimon would be awesome. Pyodramon, stuff like that would be pretty cool from Season 2 or any of the main heroes in this line. It would be sweet. But WarGreymon, definitely worth having. I'm assuming a Black WarGreymon will be coming later. I'll get that because he's just awesome. But I'll catch you guys later. Of course, thanks for your patronage. And stick around for the review later. I'll have to get it knocked out at some point this week. One thing that's scary is when you have the shoulder all the way up like that, the armor kind of starts getting in its own way. Also, super pointy all over these areas. Super pointy. This is okay, so his neck doesn't rotate, just his head. That's cool. Bye, guys.